I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, real estate community. This is the Be Your Best podcast. Hopefully you were shared this by a Summit Funding loan officer. I've got myself and Jimmy Reed running the show today, and we are talking to Jimmy. How long have you been working with realtors?
December 15th, 1996.
1996. And how long have you been coaching?
Since about 2000.
Okay. So a little bit of credibility. Jimmy has got a beautiful, beautiful business built on realtor relationships. And the reason is he is a long-term value player of growing a realtor. What we believe at Summit Funding is that our job is not just to close loans for you, that ultimately our job is to add value back to your business by making you more money. One of the key ways of doing that is giving you tactics that work for us, because we're all, the dreaded words, sales people. That's what we do. We are all looking. I like to flip, Jimmy. I get so freaked out about the word sales. I actually flip it to serve people. Because it helps me in my heart, in my weak little heart that kind of says, like, can you make that prettier, Robyn? Can we be a service people? But I consider that sales. This changed my business and our business, just like you guys, 100% commission, 100% overall self-driven is the best kind and the longest term play in terms of the business in general of how do we acquire clients. Yep. What I realized was that there were 2 hours a day that had to become non-negotiable in my life. And ultimately, I had to have a plan around them. And then I had to get excited about tackling those 2 hours. And I knew if I spent 2 hours doing, I'm going to give you another dreaded word here in a second, it literally would change the face of my business. That's exactly what it did, Jimmy. I know you say the same thing for your business. And that is 2 hours of prospecting. Period. End of story. Non-negotiable. 5 days a week. 2 hours protected. That nothing gets in the way of. Not a kid's dentist appointment. Not a morning showing. Not a new listing appointment. It means it can move to a different 2 hours, but it can never cancel. Is that a fair thing about the 2 hour window?
Well, I think the reason it's so important to think the way you're talking about is, a lot of my good closest friends are real estate agents, and it's a crazy life. For a realtor, more so than a loan officer by a long ways, I think. It feels like you work every minute of every day in your business.
Yes.
Now, the truth is you don't. But that doesn't really matter sometimes, because if you feel that way, it can lead you to make decisions that maybe aren't supporting your business, right? I'm exhausted. I'm not doing that today. Those things that we've all done. And so, this idea of, hey, there's 2 hour non-negotiable hours a day that you'll do for 5 days a week, which is 10 hours a week. I think that the results can start to steamroll. And I know, like, I'm a really good loan officer, but you're a really good, you would be a really good realtor. I know you're a really good loan officer, but you would be a really good realtor because you are attractive to a lot of different personalities. I kind of can get a little over tough sometimes, and you don't. And so it's like, if you guys are about to listen to Robyn teach you some stuff, highly recommend it. She's super, super qualified.
Well, I think, so when we talk about 2 hours of protected time, the thing that I find with most agents, and I say this with all the respect in the world, and this is loan officers as well, this is across the board in sales, because we're 100% commission, the world kind of says, sink or swim. We just threw you in the pool. Are you going to figure it out? And the issue with that is that sometimes while we are treading water, we haven't seen the strokes that would actually make the swimming fun, that would actually make the pool fun. And so when I talk about these 2 hours, to me, it was about transforming a 100% commission world into something that was fun. And let me give you the reason behind that, you guys. When you make 2 hours of outbound calls with the desire to serve people, and serving people in the most basic form is finding a need and filling a need. That's your most basic, right? We'll get into a little bit of the tactics on who you would call, what you would say. We'll go through some brief little touches. But I can tell you the very first thing, like tactic number one, is block 2 hours a day on if that's the one thing on your calendar 5 days a week, and even if you did it 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5 to start, 1 out of 5, is it fair to say, Jimmy, that in itself would transform their business?
There's no doubt.
No
And I
doubt.
think what people think, like people instantly think of when I've taught this stuff before is, well, they're going to tell me to call expireds and FSBOs, and they're going to tell me to cold call out and phone book. That's not what Robyn's saying. She's saying,
Nope.
put yourself in a position to help someone like solve a problem they're having.
Yes.
Like I'll
give you
my
some
gutters are
basic.
falling off my house. I've been meaning to get it done. It happened last winter. This is a true one. It happened last winter. I hired a guy to do it. It was so wet last winter. He kept putting me off because he kept getting busy. And then it stopped raining and he stopped calling and I haven't done nothing about it. And it's about to happen again. And if you called me and said, if you were my realtor and you called me today and said, hey, I'm just checking in. How's the house? Is there anything that's been going on that you need to pay attention to? I'm like, oh my God, my radio. Number popped up and I haven't thought about it until you just said that since last like April, whenever it rained, poured, catching dogs.
Yes. And here's the thing, Jim, right there. You know, when I coach or teach a room of realtors, I always say, why real estate? And what do you think the number one answer is?
Why did they choose it?
Yeah.
The realtors themselves?
Realtors or loan officers? What's the answer?
Well, because they want to make a lot of money and not work very hard.
I wish that was the response. The truth is, I hear all the time, I like to help people.
Oh, yeah.
I like houses. I like to help people. And so then I'm like, do your actions daily back that up? Because if we like to help people, we often go out and find a way to help people. When we want to make a lot of money and not work very hard, we wait for them to call us. These are two very different things. And so Jimmy's right. I'm not telling you to cold call. I'm gonna give you a challenge for a minute. I want you to open your cell phone. And if you're anything but an iPhone user, I apologize because I only know iPhone at this point.
Same.
And you go into your contacts. And I guarantee you there's a way to do it on every type of phone. Go into your contacts, and then up in the top left-hand corner, there's like an all contacts or a list type of thing, and you can click it. And then in all contacts, you can see how many contacts you actually have. Here's a trick. Start there. So, Jimmy, if you were to do that right now, this will blow your mind, by the way.
I'm going to do opening contact.
Go into contacts, and then all up top, it says lists on an iPhone.
2,000.
And mine is 1,795. So you have 2,000, I have 1,795. Now, Jim, let me put you to the test here.
You're going to make me test them all?
Rolling your phone right now, just in A's alone, how many people do you look down and say, not only do they know that Jim Reed, and let's say right now you're the lender, but let's even replace that word with realtor, that Jim Reed is a lender, i.e. or a realtor, and I know that I should call him with all things real estate or lending related.
Wow. I got to do this more often.
So I say that, realtors, because you could look down at your list and literally just start the dial. Most people that are saved in our phone with a name and a contact, we have some sort of communication with them. So this isn't cold, right? You've had something before, and you could literally call and simply ask questions. I'm calling people to talk about the real estate market. There's a lot of fear out there, and I thought I could be a voice of directly what's going on in Sacramento or Eugene, Oregon, or wherever you're located. Answer some questions for you. Hey, you're a past client. This is one I get often. I'm afraid to call past clients. Why are they afraid to call past clients?
Because they're afraid they're going to be mad at them about the house or about something that's totally in their mind. I don't know.
Or they've been too distant. It's been too long, and they're afraid it's too
embarrassing
to get back in touch,
like
right?
When you meet,
I don't want to bug
person.
people. I hear that often. And I always say, then don't bug anybody. Take 2 hours and make a focus to show gratitude, to connect, to find a concern or a need that you can help with, and then have great follow-up, right? The goal is to connect and then ultimately lead them back into client status if they need you, or referral status, right? Which also is a client. And how do I help people do that? You ask a whole bunch of questions. So don't be afraid to write down 2 or 3 open-ended questions. Your loan officers at Summit Funding or join our national lunch and learns that we do, once a month. We'll help you with the questions to ask people. And ultimately, you start asking really interesting questions. I guarantee you something like Jimmy's rain gutters will come up, and all of a sudden you serve Jimmy. And you know what ends up happening? A week later, Jimmy's at a barbecue and he is talking to his buddy, and they say, we're thinking we just got a great job offer. We're moving down, further south. So we're going to sell our house. And Jimmy says what instantly? Dude,
Dude, you got to
Call
call
Robyn.
Robyn.
I just talked to her the other day. She got me the best gutter connection. She's an incredible realtor, checks in with me. Like, I see you hustling, and nobody wants to hate the hustle. Nobody wants to hate the help that we want to give. And so 2 hours a day, protect them on your calendar. Start with your phone. If you run out of people to call, that's a good problem to have, but I don't think you will. I think you'll see what just that creates in itself just through your cell phone alone. And you saying, not only am I a realtor, but I want to make sure you know I want to be your realtor, and I want to help you with all things real estate needs-based.
Wow.
You do that, you'll blow up.
You know, I was just thinking of something else they could do during that 2 hours is, if you're a realtor, you should have a pretty thorough list of people that you refer.
Yes.
And that you connect with weekly. And here's the biggest part of that. You'll do all their transactions and their family's transactions. If you had 15 or 20 vendors that you talk to every other week and referred them actively by pursuing your database, I could do this as a lender.
Yes.
Wow. And you had those people come over for a barbecue twice a year? Well, all of their kids, grandkids, uncles, cousins, they would all use you for real estate. And that alone would be 10 or 15 deals a year.
That alone. So
it's a no-brainer. And there's no cold calling, and there's no open houses, and there's no Fred days in a neighborhood where no one knows you. None of that.
Yes.
Wow, that's really good.
Quit worrying about what you would say or not say, and start worrying about how you can help. And if you have that mindset at all times, let me help connecting Jimmy as a contractor to a bunch of my clients and help you build your business.
So what have you? Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you got me all excited. So what are three questions that they should ask, like when they call me? So I would think one would be, what have you done to the house?
Yeah, if it's a past client call, some of the basics, right? Can I, gosh, Jimmy, how's the house? We're going to have that conversation. What have you done to it? Oh, you haven't done anything? Do you have any plans to do anything, right? Like, everybody's got a dream in their mind of, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. Here's this. What's preventing you from doing it, right?
So I just thought of an objection I've heard before. Well, I don't want to call them because they're going to blame me because the rain gutters are hanging off the house. Because they sold the house to them.
Yeah.
Which is silly. I'm just asking you, how do the people who are watching this get over that part? Because a lot of times it's like, oh my God, my past clients don't call me because if they call me, it's because they're unhappy with the house. Versus reframing that and seeing it as an opportunity to help solve. I mean, it wasn't your house. You don't have to pay for it.
I think, it's a funny analogy. The way that I personally would tackle something like that, Jim, would just be to ask more questions and lead with solutions, right? And so if they kind of said, you know what, we've actually been really frustrated, tons of stuff. Gosh, I wish I would have called sooner. We would have been in touch sooner. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's happening. Let's talk about what's going on. You can't be afraid of somebody bringing you a problem. You should be, problems make us what?
Money. More problems, more money. No problems, no money.
Valuable, which is money, right? It's the same, like you're saying it the exact same way as my little weak heart says it, right? Somebody brings you a bunch of problems. Woo! Sign me up to be the best helper on the planet today.
Don't they have home warranties anyway? I mean, what's the fear of calling them?
Everything.
Maybe they don't even know how the home warranty works.
Own it, for goodness sakes, Jim.
Dude, I'm telling you, more than half of the clients I talk to, because I do call my past clients, they don't know what a home warranty is.
Yes.
And they don't know that they can use it for free to fix stuff.
Yes.
It's crazy. Anyways, I just think that I'm just trying to get to, I'm trying to think of the objections of people listening why they won't call, because if you can do this, real estate can be fun.
Yeah, I think the biggest one that I hear is I don't want to bug anybody. I don't want to seem salesy. I don't want to have my hand out. And my response to all of that is don't.
Yep.
Don't. Because you don't have to sell anything when you're searching to help people. There's a huge difference. And so pick up the phone, make connections, ask a lot of questions, be genuinely interested in what they say. And you might end up having only 5 phone calls made over 2 hours. But I guarantee you those 5 phone calls will make an impact that will change the face of your business. And if you got to leave a voicemail, be genuinely interested in hearing back from somebody. And there's a difference between, hey, Jimmy, it's Robyn over here at ABC Real Estate Company, and I just want to leave you a message to check in and say hi. Are you calling me back?
Nope.
No. But if I said, hey, Jimmy, It's Robyn over here at ABC Real Estate Company. Give me a call when you can.
I would call you because I think I was in trouble.
You would think something, right? You would
Something,
think,
yeah.
what is this about? Then when you get on, hey, Jimmy, I'm honored you called me back. I was hoping that we get to connect live and I could ask you a few questions. You got a few minutes?
Yeah. Is everything okay? That's what I would say.
Does that make
Be like,
sense?
yeah, but I just helped one of our neighbors just had this happen, and I helped them with this. I thought, man, I wonder if there's something I can help you with. That's all you have to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Dude, this
start
is brilliant.
with 2 hours.
So good.
Start with 2 hours. Grab your cell phone if you don't know who to call. We can give you a lot of other options on theme days. It's different podcasts from this, but I will tell you what, you guys, we're grateful for the way that you support Summit Funding. We hope that we are adding value back to you and to your clients and ultimately building your business so that we can all achieve our very best. Thank you, Jimmy, for your time.
Great job, Robyn.